The following is a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
From the birthplace of modern winemaking, Sonoma, California, welcome to The Winemakers. Local experts Sam Couture, Bart Hansen, and Brian Casey invite you to listen in as they discuss all facets of winemaking. So sit back, pour yourself a glass, and let's hear what the guys have to say this week.
Beautiful. I need some wine this morning. There's so much shit going on. Jasmine's unloading pallets out of a truck of shipping containers. Sam's picking Canard Vineyard. Bart is, I think, getting a Gopher Run Zinfandel delivered. Danielle just got done with her mammogram.
My first ever.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And flowers just got dropped off. We got appointments. Anyone who listened to the last podcast, apologies. We got a little note from the Podfather saying there is so much freaking background noise on this thing. But we did it in the tasting room. It was like a foggy, dreary day. So we thought we'll do it inside. We only had one appointment scheduled that day. So we thought, okay, no problem. It'll be quiet. And then the tasting room just slowly started filling up. People just started walking in. And you got three ladies like blaring Taylor Swift in one room and like dancing. So I can't even imagine. I wasn't even on the podcast. I was just in the middle of the shit, and I felt bad for you guys. But you were drinking tomorrow, and it
I just
smelled
started
incredible.
listening to it, and it's okay. But yeah, you can hear them singing for sure.
Yeah,
I just wish you could hear my facial expressions to Sam of like deadly stares.
Yeah, maybe think about just getting one more door for that room. We got the pocket doors and the kitchen door, but we just need one more door, and we can close out that thing completely. Anyway, a lot of shit going on.
People are having a good time.
Welcome to the Winemakers.
Welcome to the Winemakers. Does anyone follow Patrick Cappiello?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
You don't follow him on Instagram?
Who is it?
He's a friend of the podcast. He was a former somm in New York that kind of knew PAX and then ended up moving out here to California making wine. I was just curious because he's there's just a lot of fun going on right now. He is sort of in this like drama back and forth with the Vine Pair podcast. They, I guess, did some show about the 6 most overrated wine regions in the world, and he was like, "Why are we talking shit about people?" And now it's like a full on like Desperate Housewives things. Now they're both responding to each other. And originally I was like, "Oh, this is not good," but I'm actually really enjoying it, and I think it's good. It's bringing some attention to wine in a different way,
like a little drama to get people interested.
To get people interested.
Bravo angle.
Yeah, but he posted something yesterday, and it was just really funny. It's just turned into this really fucking cheeky, catty thing going on.
Well, should we introduce everybody?
Yeah. Got Jasmine Egan sitting on the show again today. Okay, Matt.
Matthew McDermaid
from Staysail, which I think we met. Was it just the day that you came in here?
Yeah, it was the first day.
Day?
Yeah, that I came in with my girlfriend. We came in for a tasting.
Yeah, and then we ended up with some of your wines. We actually did talk about the rosé on a podcast that we did maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago or something. We opened up the rosé. You are possibly looking into getting a little fruit from Rossi this year, which we haven't picked yet.
Not ready.
Not ready. Danielle speaks from experience.
I was going to say, please don't tell me those words, fruit's ready now.
It's not.
But you're a young guy that is making your own wines. And so look at your hands.
Yeah. Just a little.
Christ.
That's the true sign of a real winemaker.
Yeah. So tell us what your day was like this morning.
So this morning was getting ready for just all the pump overs in the world right now. Just getting ready, coordinating between first pump overs all morning, punch downs, tasting every tank and lot, getting ready to start loading things into the press, bottling some pet nat, and then make my way down for a podcast.
Wait, you just said you don't bottle during harvest, and now you
not me. That's my boss. I learned.
Apparently, we're breaking 2 golden rules of harvest: don't podcast during harvest, and don't bottle during harvest.
Yeah.
Both are being broken today.
Yeah. Jasmine made a pet nat unknowingly.
Rest in peace for Joe. I guess when you make alcohol for a living and you try to not make alcohol, it's a little harder.
Jasmine had this cool project where we did a verjus from the green drop, and totally confused the hell out of the vineyard workers when they went out there. We're like,
so
wait,
funny.
we're picking this? Wait,
I'm like,
why?
yes, the green ones.
And it was fucking delicious for like 2 weeks. It was amazing. And I went on vacation, then I came back, and I didn't know anything about it. And so I asked, I'm like, hey, how's the verjus doing? And Sam's like, oh, shit, you don't know.
What happened? I don't know either.
It turned into wine.
Oh, because nobody added sulfur and it just
We
started.
added sulfur. I think it had a little too much sugar, and I think we didn't keep it as cold as it needed to be.
Gotcha.
Life
So-
finds a way.
Yeah.
There was
That's
3
right.
bottles of it in the cellar, and I'm here by myself like the day after that we had this conversation, and Sam was like, if you keep it cold, it's fine. So I'm like, okay, cool, it's in the cellar. So I'm here setting up in the morning, and I hear pop. And I didn't think about it. I look at the front door, I look at the back door, and I'm like, that's weird. And then like a half an hour later, I walked in the cellar. It was fucking mayhem in there. You have no idea. All over the ground, the wall, the ceiling.
Oh God.
There's
So
a
happy I
map
wasn't
in
here.
in the cellar, like one of those tactile maps that has like elevation and stuff. Right now, it's sparkly in the light because it is just completely sprayed with verjus. But it turned into kind of like a verjus pet nat, and it was delicious.
It's so good. That's
good
the
sparkling.
shame that we had to like get rid of it. But
Yeah.
we will be trying again next year.
So where are you making your wines at? You said your boss. So
Yeah. So my day-to-day job and where I make my wine, I work for the Meeker Vineyard up in Healdsburg.
hold on. We're fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started making my wines back in 2019 because I realized in the cellar my second year into it, while I was starting grad school at Sonoma State, that, you know what, I don't have enough on my plate yet. And I feel like I'm not learning fast enough. And I'm a really kinesthetic learner. I learn best by doing. So I asked, can I make wine? To which they immediately said, without hesitation, hell yeah, go for it. What do you want to do? And I said, well, I really am interested in Cab Franc and Grenache. What can I work with? And they said, well, we have some extra Cab Franc coming in this year. Buy 1.5 tons, and then let's start your brand. Let's figure this out.
Cab Franc from where?
So Bob Pedroni's vineyard in Dry Creek Valley. Okay. So if you're leaving Healdsburg and you're going on the roundabout out towards West Side Road, right before you cross the bridge where you see the sign for Orsi, there's a little dirt road. Take a left, and it was this old vine, beautiful 60-year-old Cab Franc block.
Nice.
And I fell in love with it. It was amazing.
And had you had some of the wines that were made from?
Yep.
Yeah.
My parents have been wine club members at Meeker for
cool.
gazillions of years. And they were some of the first wines that made me start falling in love with just with wine in general. Yeah. And my first harvest with Meeker in 2018, I remember doing a pump over right on that Cab Franc block. And it was almost a Matrix moment. Like when Neo has like the screen pulled back from you and you're like, this all makes sense.
Totally.
And I had that just smelling this tank being like, wine's probably the coolest thing I can think of.
I agree.
Yeah.
You skipped something though that is kind of important in Sonoma history. Where was your first job working in wine?
Okay, so my first job was working for my aunt and uncle, Susie and Squire Friedel.
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
I just found that out this morning, and I was like, holy shit. That's like, I mean, if you work in Sonoma or live in Sonoma, you know that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Friedels. So Susie is my dad's older sister. Okay. And right after college, I was really a wayward soul. I thought law school was going to be my way to go. I did a number of internships at law firms. But then my senior year kind of did that casual forget to take the LSAT thing. And, I was a little bit more focused on my collegiate sailing, my sport, and partying, let's be honest. And the idea of being a professional adult, I was like, I've got till the end of the year to figure this out. Not a big deal. And then it turned into, I was like, oh, I need to figure out what life is going to be. Yeah. And they offered to me, and they said, why don't you work for us for a full year, just out both in the vineyard and in the winery. And you'll figure out really quickly whether or not you want to do this or you want to have a desk job.
How long have they been making wine for?
Since the early 80s. So they started in the early 80s when they first moved up here and planted. But then their first commercial release was 95 or 96.
I feel like I have had bottles that weren't legal from them before.
Yeah,
just
probably.
from being around over the years.
Yeah.
That, like, I'm like, this is not a legal label. It was just kind of like house wine.
Exactly. They had that for a while. They used to sell grapes to a number of different people. They actually used to sell Syrah back to Joel Peterson when he was doing single vineyard Syrahs back in the day. That really started helping getting them on the map. But when they eventually just started just releasing commercially, my uncle Squire, if you didn't know, we joke about in the family, you've seen him, but you don't really know of him. And he was the national Ronald McDonald. He was the old Toyota guy who jumped up for every Toyota-thon. So you've seen us, but you don't really recognize him. And we took that notoriety and just played into it. And GlenLyon started from there, and that was my first opportunity.
And they were actually really cool. Whatever restaurants I was working at, they were always out to eat in Sonoma, and super sweet people.
They're the best. I mean, if I can be half as amazing and nice of a person as Susie is, then I will have achieved everything.
So I know your cousin, right? She has twins and then an older daughter. Her daughter goes to school with my son.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now. And we were in the same prenatal yoga class where I met her, where she was just so pregnant with twins.
Welcome to California, people.
And she was like so pregnant that she couldn't really do any of the yoga, but we just set up this like super comfy chair for her so she could just be a part of the community. It was amazing. She's so sweet. So sweet.
Like
and I actually just saw them at a birthday party last week on the plaza, on the Sonoma Plaza.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They, Lexi,
Small
Graham,
town.
and those kiddos. It's
So
such a
sweet.
small world.
So sweet, yeah.
Jasmine missed her yoga class this morning.
It was canceled.
Oh, that is a bummer.
I'm so sad. I was so pumped for it too. I got there early.
No!
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, I guess I'll set up the tasting
Why does a
room.
yoga class get canceled?
Marjorie's not feeling well.
So that's the...
Oh, I was supposed to taste wine with her today. Yeah.
She's not feeling good.
Okay.
But yeah.
So then you can't put on like a video?
No, it's an intense class. Like
Okay.
I was really pumped for it because usually there's like a puddle under me, and
You
I'm
get your
like,
ass
yeah.
kicked.
Oh, I could barely go upstairs afterwards. It's it's a hard one.
All right.
But yeah, that's why I was like, oh man. Well,
But then you got to unload 3 pallets of fucking shipping boxes.
I got I'm so sweaty and disgusting right
Yeah,
now.
totally.
I mean, who needs the gym during harvest and wine club time, right? It's like just keep on unloading pallets. That's just the way to do it.
Yeah, we ordered exactly what we needed, and then I was like, oh, I don't have space for this. But the van's full too, so yeah.
Whatever. The place is kind of a shit show for a couple months when we drop wine club and it's harvest, but then it all
Bella's kicking
zeroes
ass.
out.
Yeah.
So how did you get connected with Meeker though?
So initially, it was kind of random circumstance. So right after the 2017 harvest, 2018, I realized grad school was something I was wanting to do, go to Sonoma State into their wine business program, because that's where I was initially thinking how I wanted to get into production.
And you had a business degree, right? Yeah.
So my eventual dream job, I feel like, is like GMing somewhere. That idea to have both my feet into the front of house and the production side. That's where I feel like I can advocate on both sides. But
Renaissance man.
okay, let's do it. And so getting connected with Meeker, I happened to go pick up wine for my parents, because the moment I started moving up here, my dad had the genius idea of, wait, why pay for shipping anymore when I have a 22-year-old that can just do all of my pickups for me? So I just happened to go to all their wine club pickups and pickup parties to start meeting and talking to people. So I met with the Meekers, and randomly 2018, I'm on vacation in July and going to Oregon with my parents because we'd never been to the wine country out there. And I get a call from Lucas saying, hey, so one of our harvest interns just bailed out for the year. Do you need a job? In which I was like, well, I'm just finished up my first year of employment, and I think I want to try something new. And so I'm unemployed. I need a job. And he said, well, do you want to work harvest for us? And I said, you're offering me a job? As I'm also 4 wineries deep at this point. So I'm like, am I drunk, or are you actually offering me a job? And which he said, no, do you want a job? Can you start in a few days? And I said, I'm on vacation. I'll be back right away. To which it's something, if I can ever tell your parents when you're at a tasting 4 wineries deep that you just got a job. Your dad, he just started going 2 for 2. 2 years out of college, 2 years with a job.
Did they pay for your college?
I got I've got a really healthy scholarship, so I got paid to go to school for sailing. Okay. So
nice.
And besides that, they helped pay for a decent, healthy amount because I think my scholarship was 60% of the overall tuition.
Okay, so hold on. How many colleges in the United States have a sailing program?
So not that many. It's a lot more on the East Coast.
Yeah,
the top sailing schools out on the West Coast are Stanford and USC.
Okay.
And my GPA, it was nice, but Stanford, the coach looked at me and he said, not happening, kid. And so I got recruited. So there's actually a healthy number. I would say somewhere between 150 and 200.
Holy shit. And so then is there like a season where you guys are competing?
It's both semesters. So we have both a fall and spring season. And you have a main break between, I would say, end of November through the first week or so of March. That's just because it's too cold on the East Coast to actually sail, where the rivers and everything are frozen over.
Yeah.
Because with sailing, they have a rule. If water temperature plus air temperature is less than 50, it's not safe.
Yeah.
But being from Southern California and the West Coast like me,
it's always
if
like
it's
that.
not 72 degrees or above, I'm out of my element.
Yeah. Something's wrong. Yeah.
So then out of all those schools that compete, like how many of them are close to a body of water that you can actually compete on?
I would say almost a healthy amount have a body of water within a 10 to 15 minute drive. Like, for example, where I went to school, Washington College, the Chester River where we practiced was a half mile away from the campus and about a mile away from my apartment.
And then I just never been in this world before. What is the goal? Like you guys both starting at a specific point? Is it a bunch of people?
Yeah, so it's 18 boats at a time, like on a starting line.
Shit.
And sailing is like golf.
And how many people in the boat?
2 people on a boat. So it's just a skipper and a crew. It's called small boat dinghy sailing.
Okay.
And it's just like golf where lowest score wins. First place gets 1 point at the end of the race. Last place gets 18 points, number of boats. And you want to have the lowest score at the end of it. And you race around a certain number of markers, a number of times, a number of laps, and then you finish. And the idea is just to finish ahead of everyone else, navigate the course, and just do that constantly.
But with that many boats, are you guys crashing into each other sometimes?
There's sometimes, but you better not, because there's penalties you have to start figuring out. And fiberglass repairs are not the easiest things in the world to do.
I was going to say, and there's probably a bit of destruction that's expensive.
So how long is a typical race?
They set up each race to be about 20 minutes because they want it to be faster. For outside of college sailing, each race is generally between an hour and a half, but they want it to go faster for college sailing. That way, it's just a little bit more intensive.
Yeah, totally. No, more exciting to watch, too.
I was going to say, if you're a parent, it's really fun because there's generally a bar associated with every yacht club. And so, I mean, as a coach, I would do this. And if I see parents getting too intense, my favorite line would be, go to the bar, go drink about it, and stop bothering your kid. Just go drink a couple beers.
Yeah.
And just like with winemaking, how beer makes the world go around, beer... It makes a lot of parents a lot more relaxed.
Yeah. So are you still sailing out on the bay?
A little bit. I haven't as much because my first year in the industry, I got a pretty gnarly harvest.
How did that happen?
I dropped the glass carboy. Oh. And so I won't go into the whole details, but I almost bled out. I sliced almost every nerve in this hand and almost every tendon. And so I had to relearn during my first harvest while working for my aunt and uncle, in addition to learning how to make wine, how to reuse my left hand.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Because you severed tendons?
Yeah. So I severed 7 of the 12 tendons, the major ulnar nerve, which controls these 3 fingers. And when I was at the hospital, the first question they asked was, are you right or left-handed? Because when your team of surgeons all see the CAT scans and they all do this collective huddle, like they think they're trying to design up a QB sneak. Yeah. And they say, are you right or left-handed? I'm like, they want to amputate. I'm immediately going to say I'm left-handed.
Shit. Seriously, that's what happened?
Yeah, it's they wanted to, so I said I'm left-handed. I need to write. As I'm signing off every medical form with my right hand, I'm like, I'm left-handed. Trust me.
I can't believe you thought that.
How did you know that?
That's such a smart.
Because I just had this initial
feeling.
Yeah, because with how I was doing this X-ray, I could see the team, and when I first saw the radiologist do this, oh shit. I was to be like, okay, I need to have this wheel of excuses. Just start but
do your best.
I mean,
Skip lunch.
But I mean, in all honesty, which bringing back to the idea of Sonoma being this small world, the same surgeons who did everything for me just operated my aunt and uncle not too long, earlier.
Yeah.
So the cardiovascular surgeon who repaired all the veins and nerves, he's a wine club member.
So awesome.
No,
and he's paying full price? He might get a little discount, I would assume.
I don't know. My mom works in education. So the state of California, their insurance, I don't know. It's the greatest thing known to mankind.
Yeah.
What should have been crippling amounts of medical debt came out to be pretty okay.
Wow.
But it was a small world.
Wow. So wait, how long did it take to recover?
About a full year, and I still don't have full feeling up until here. My fingertips are really numb.
Yeah.
But as I said, I will have permanent arthritis in this hand.
Yeah.
But as one of the other surgeons said, this pinky is like this. I'll never be able to live long and prosper. but for the cool I think it was, if I remember right, it was like $150,000. Like, we can put your pinky in. We can't get it. You won't be able to take it back out. So do you want to have it in or out? And I'm like,
what? Pinky's out.
Let's just keep it out. We'll just be fancy at all times now.
Tell us a little bit about this Grenache Blanc that we're drinking.
So
delicious.
This is 100% Grenache Blanc from the Seha family farm, which is right off of Sparing Road out here off of Arnold Drive. Yeah. So back in 2021, I started working with this fruit because when I was starting to think about white wine, I was like, what are the main varieties? Chardonnay, Viognier, Sauvignon Blanc. And in addition,
I love
we got
how you throw Viognier into the main varieties.
No, hey, at this point, if dealing with my family, who's they've been making Viognier for so long that you would have assumed that we view it as mainstay. Yeah. But I was thinking a lot. What's a variety that not that many people make a lot of that I can really just put my foot on and start adding to the conversation? And Grenache Blanc was that idea. And I started working with this fruit. And when I first walked the vineyard with Jesus Seha, he said, Matt, the amount of limestone in this vineyard, it will hold its acid no matter what.
Which is cool with Grenache Blanc, right? Because it can get a little, it's like typically a little higher in alcohol and can get a little bit flabby if it gets away from you.
And that's exactly where I've had that experience with other different vineyards. But the moment he said this wine holds its acid, my immediate conversation was, okay, who buys this fruit? Yeah. Is it available? And he said, it's yours if you want it. So 100, as I said, just lightly pressed. I barrel fermented all in a mix of smaller format barrels and puncheons. Mm-hmm. Then use 3 or 4 different yeasts depending on the year, because I really view yeast selection as something important for winemaking. Because besides flavor, just the differences in mouthfeel and chemistry that it can have. Right. Some different yeasts produce more polysaccharides, more compact yeast. Yeah. And having just a menagerie in that way allows me to think of things in a different way.
But you're at the level that's so small. That's kind of risky for you to try and experiment with different yeasts to see the final result. Because what if it's not exactly the way you...
Well, it's where I try to be deliberate. I don't... every experiment and move I make, I try to be very tactful about and just try to do something small. I'll build on a program or an idea. And I'm like, okay, this is how I think this yeast works. Do I like this? Do I not? And I ferment everything separately. And if I don't think it makes the final cut, I won't blend it in. I won't bottle it. And I'm willing to sacrifice a few kegs or something if it will make this wine better.
I totally agree with you, because I think that in terms of winemaking, yeast selection is huge. And I don't think a lot of winemakers talk about that, because I think there are certain things that really make an imprint on how your wine's going to come out.
Right.
You know, it's the vineyard is obviously the biggest one if you're making wine right. It's like, where's the terroir? Where are you getting it from? Your pick date, though, as a winemaker, is going to be hugely influential on your style of wine. And then the yeast that you use, I mean, if you're using commercial yeast, these yeasts are specifically designed to produce certain characteristics of wine. And so you can take the wine any way you really want to. So I don't think people talk about that a lot. But I've met people who use 2 yeasts, but 4 yeasts. Yeah. That's cool.
I've dialed it back down to generally between 2 and 3.
Okay.
Because with 4, I would always enjoy it because I'm like, okay, we can do a small barrel firm of this. or what I would do, and when I think about 3 or 4 multiple yeasts, it's kind of a theme or an idea. Like I want to have some lot be like a high enzymatic yeast that really produces like lots of esters and beta glycosides and can really just produce this really aromatic pungent. I want to have some that might be able to stress more of producing like a much more mineral mouthfeel like texture. And then some that are just trying to drive varietal character. Yes. So, and through the years, I've actually developed slightly different programs with how much I want to stir those barrels and how I mark everything out. It's not like I try to use the same protocol across different yeasts. It's very much a deliberate idea of whether like what I'm doing. If I'm stirring during fermentation, what am I trying to do? Just to encourage everything, because I've gotten way too far off that deep end, like you said before. And with the help of some friends and mainly my parents, we call my mom the chief reality officer at Staysail. She's really good at being like, okay, Matt, this is a great idea. Let's dial it back a few inches. Like, let's dial it back.
Yeah. So when you do these fermentations with different yeasts, you're actually fermenting in like doing barrel ferments, and each barrel has a different yeast in it.
Exactly.
So you're not like adding a yeast and then mid ferment adding another yeast.
No. Okay. So it's if like, for example, if I have 5 or 6 barrels, I might do 2 barrels or one yeast, 2 barrels or another, 2 barrels or another. That way I can have eventually at the end of it 1 barrel of each or something, just so I have some markers to test up until bottling and ideas. Because I can view things as, wow, this was a great idea, but if I add all of this in there, that's going to be way too much. Let's figure out. And
it still has to be balanced, right?
Yeah, it's still trying to figure that out. But especially with Seha now, I've really kind of figured out where it needs to have, I actually brought it down to 2, where it's half the program is stressing a lot more mouthfeel and polysaccharide development. And the other half of the program is a lot more high enzymatic, really just producing those aromatics and esters. Yes. Then when I blend them back together, it really creates this harmonious bit where it's really a sum of its parts rather than just, let's just add a little bit of this, a little bit of that and make it happen.
Well, all the best winemakers are really mad scientists at heart. So
that's where working with Meeker has been amazing, because he really, Lucas, my boss, I love him to death. He's a mad scientist, and he loves to push that edge or take this idea of saying, you know what, this wheel is great. We don't need to reshape it, but can we make it a little better? Yeah. Can we sand it down? What if we grease it? Or that idea in this metaphor, what can we do to push things just a little bit more?
Well, and I'm saying you have to be mad, because all this experimentation has to happen during harvest. So like your plate is already over full. You have several overfull plates, and then you're just like, let's just add a little experimentation to like 7 lots, we'll just try some stuff out. So you have to be a mad scientist. You have to be really into it. So that's cool. I'm really enjoying this Grenache Blanc. It's actually one of my
totally.
I think it's my favorite.
One of your favorite white grapes.
Yeah, definitely. Although I did have a 16600 Marsanne Roussanne yesterday.
Oh, the Simons. It's
the Simons.
It's so good.
Delicious.
We have not yet released it, but
it's not released. Yeah, they just popped it open yesterday while I was here. And I got to taste it. It was beautiful. Yeah. So hats off. Who made the Simons? Was that Alejandro?
I think it's Alejandro. Yeah.
Hats off, Alejandro.
Yeah.
So let's go. Where should we go next?
Let's start off with this guy, my 2022 from. I don't have any estate vineyards, as my parents love to say. We can help support you in some ways, but the trust fund ain't that big, kid. Yes. And so I have been really lucky and fortunate to have developed a lot of great friends along the way.
Thank you.
And so this fruit actually comes down from the Templeton Gap in Paso Robles.
Oh, cool.
This is coming from one of my really good close friends' vineyards, Brian Farrell of Calesta.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. And so this fruit's right off the Templeton Gap on the eastern side of it.
It smells so good.
Thank you.
Oh,
and
our favorite
it's technically on the eastern side of Paso, but as he likes to describe it, God didn't describe where the 101 was going to go.
That's true. So this is 2022 Grenache that we're drinking.
So all of my Grenaches are 100%. Mm-hmm. As much as I love blending, but I think that for Grenache, it has an ability. It's like Pinot Noir's older cousin. It shows off terroir. It shows off its sense of place incredibly well, but it's not as moody, you know. It can handle a lot more different ranges of fermentations.
Yeah.
And how I try to describe it to people, it's like Pinot Noir's older cousin. It's the one that tells you, let's go on a walk, like right before Thanksgiving dinner. You know, it's a lot more fun.
It's the cooler older cousin.
Yeah.
We describe it as it's what Pinot wants to be.
I try to say that, but then my uncle Squire would be like, no, that's where Syrah comes in. That's what Pinot really wants to be when it grows up.
He's one of us.
He's one of us. That's right.
Yeah. We do probably about 5% in our 100% quote unquote grenaches just to kind of fill out that middle.
Syrah?
Mourvèdre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying to, so in 22, I used a little bit of Mourvèdre to like top this off. So it might be 1% Mourvèdre like in total. But one of my close friends.
The old topping.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, top off a little bit of this.
Well, it's like you don't want to break down a whole freaking barrel if you only have a couple of barrels to top. And if you have something extra, that's, you know.
And they play well together.
They play well together. Yeah, they're friends.
Yeah. Or I was going to say I play that. Or when you're like me, if you're like, okay, I did not get that much in yields. I got 2 filled barrels, and so I don't have any topping wine.
Exactly.
This is some great topping wine right here. Let's use it.
Yes.
But, I mean, I think Mourvèdre really fills out well. And I made as a joke right before the start of harvest, a lot of my friends and I, we went up to just one of our friends' cabins up near Lake Lassett, and I brought a magnum of a bottle of this Grenache, and then I made a couple magnums for my mom and dad. And I had one leftover bottle of that Grenache and then a bottle of my Mourvèdre. And I blended them both together. It's like, you know what? I got one extra Magnum bottle. Let's make a party bottle. And it was almost infuriating seeing all of my friends be like, this is the greatest thing you've ever made.
Yeah.
And I was like, this was a joke. I ran out of things. And they're like, no, you should do this more. And I'm like,
So I make basically a 50-50.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah,
I love it
We do
too.
too.
It's such a great wine, and
Yeah.
I was so annoyed with how good that wine was that I was like, okay, I'm keeping this one in the bank. I know what I want to do in the future, but damn it, you're right.
And one of the wines that blew my mind was I was down in Paso and I tasted a wine that was Syrah Mourvèdre, and I loved it. It actually inspired what year was that? The 2020 Inatondu. Because we barely the 2020 Inatondu from Lassiter. It's a Syrah. It means unexpected.
Of course.
But yeah, I was just so enamored with this wine that I barrel tasted. I was just like, I didn't know that Mourvèdre, just a little bit of Mourvèdre and a Syrah could be so beautiful. Right. So, and we had limited grapes in 2020. Yeah. Or no, it was 2022. It was from the
after the heat wave.
And so we had limited wine. We have to make at least 75 cases of something. So I was like, okay, I can mix 3 barrels together, 1 Mourvèdre, 2 Syrah, and it was one of my favorite wines.
I want to try it now.
Yeah, I probably have some. I'll last off or first off.
The Mourvèdre being able to show through Syrah, especially your guys.
Well, it just kind of makes Syrah chill out a little bit because the Syrah can be so big intense, and so intense, and Mourvèdre is just like, yo, bro. Like,
was this the Trinity Ridge Syrah or?
No, not no. It's from the valley. Yeah.
All right, what are we? So this is this the first red we've gotten into? Sorry, I took a little break.
No worries.
Of course, the tasting room's starting to pop. Phone calls.
So
welcome to Harvest in Sonoma.
Exactly. So this was my 2022 Calesta vineyard. So 100% Grenache with maybe a small smatterings of Mourvèdre to top it off.
Yeah, it's got some nice grip to it.
And it's 100% neutral oak. 100% neutral oak, about 10% whole cluster on it. And just to give it a little bit more stem, tannin, and structure. Yeah. Because I feel a small amount of whole cluster and Grenache can go a long way.
I love whole cluster and Grenache.
I feel like because Grenache is great and nice and plush, but sometimes it needs a little bit more of that grip and that edge to give it something to where, okay, I know, because you can really start viewing where that trajectory of the wine's going. Yeah. Viewing, especially when you get that nice, healthy stem lignification. And
because you're making these wines. Is your idea and thinking is that you want these wines to age for a little while?
my goal with all my winemaking is striking a balance between ageability and accessibility.
Okay.
Of where I want the wines to be approachable while they're young, but can they age 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years?
Right.
That's where I want it to be able to sit down and develop, but I also want it to where you can just go ahead and just drink it, because I'm 30 years old, and with everyone around my age, we're either moving or not, or we're either moving all around, or if you're going to buy wine, the majority of it is drank within 24 hours, within even 8 hours of consumption.
Yeah.
So if my bottle's on a shelf, I want it to be able to be, hey, put this down if you want, but if you pop the cork tonight, you're not going to be angry.
Yeah.
Because for my generation, if you don't know wine, it feels like a gamble.
Yeah.
You go into a store, I don't know, I could be spending $10 on something, 15, 20, 50. What can I have this reassurance that I'm not going to regret what I bought?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, what can I buy that I can drink tonight? It's like it's like an avocado, man. It's like, I'm not trying to eat this in 4 days. Like, I need this avocado for my tacos tonight.
Bananas right now. The Oliver's the other day, they were all green, like green. And I'm like, I need it tomorrow for yogurt. Do you own a home?
So own a condo. So
you're lucky. I mean, for someone your age to actually own something.
So very, very helpful with having parents with that. So we all went on it together. So right after the 2017 fires, when there was just the immediate housing bubble and crisis, I moved off of my aunt and uncle's property, and I was thinking, I need a place to live. And we were looking at all the rent prices. We're like, this is just insane right now, especially in 2018, right after. So we found just right off the M Block in Roner Park, just an awesome condo that we were able to get.
What's it called?
Windsong Apartments.
I know exactly where it is.
So right next to Old Kaz, which has been the greatest development of all time.
Yeah. So I have a house on Montero.
Yep.
But then I live a block from Oliver's.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we've talked about Oliver's
before.
We're
neighbors.
Yeah. Oliver's is... if you guys don't know, the podcast listeners, Oliver's might be the greatest grocery store chain.
It is. If I ever move,
it's the
I live
from
right by
Roner
the
Park,
Montecito one.
I'm gonna. Yeah. But if I ever move like out of this area, it's the thing that I will miss most is being able to shop daily at an Oliver's market.
Yeah.
Employee owned.
I know.
It's a co-op, right? Kind of. Maybe not. Maybe it's just employee owned.
No, employee owned, and
but they're it's very important to them to like have local producers.
Produce, cheese, wine,
everything.
Everything.
The Oliver's has really built up my love of cheese. If you guys haven't, the Adare cheese from there is, my friends and I call it my fancy cheese.
What is it?
It's half sheep, half goat from the Basque region. Their cheese mongers were amazing. And I asked them, I was like, what's a cheese that can pair with Cab Franc and Grenache? And to which she initially looked at me, was like, that's a really wild conversation, like two grapes to put together. Yeah. But then he was like, I got an idea, and he just showed me this cheese, and he said, come back here tomorrow and tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Which I love a good challenge, which I'm like, okay, I'm going to instantly hate this because you told me to. But then I just had a small bite of it, and I was like, okay, this is the greatest cheese I've ever had. Yeah. And I've now go to Oliver's religiously for almost everything.
What's the name of it again?
Adare. Adarrae.
Okay, I'm going to try it.
I'm picking some up too.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's so amazing.
What's next?
So let's go.
I poured the 2023.
Let's go for the 23.
Okay.
Perfect.
23. Okay.
Cool. This is the first Grenache I made in Sonoma.
Wait, where the grapes were from Sonoma?
Yeah,
grapes
were from Sonoma.
Okay, cool.
And 23 was such a great vintage.
And where did you get the?
This is from the Brandon Vineyard, all the way out in Rockpile District.
Oh, weird.
So
this is delicious.
The Brandon Vineyard, I think, is one of the coolest, and I think is the most remote vineyard in Sonoma.
Yeah.
So when you get to the end of Rockpile Road, where you get to the turnoff towards Annapolis, there's also a hillside that you can just drive up, and that's the start of this guy's property. When the moment you get there, you then drive about 8 or 9. You have to go through 8 or 9 mountains and switchbacks. And it's the most northern block in Sonoma County. The edge line of the vineyard is the Mendocino County line.
Wow.
And the first time I went out there to go visit this fruit, I called my mom because when I got cell service and I said, Mom, there's a lot of really dangerous switchbacks. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I love you, just to let you know.
3 hours.
Right.
And that's kind of where, because he also said there's bears and there was a shotgun mounted on the truck. Because I was like, am I going to be held up like, to buy this fruit? But it was a block of where it's such amazing. It's so remote, so isolated.
Yeah.
That the moment you're out there, you get lost in it, but you just see this potential out there. And
dude, this is
great.
Reminds me of Muchas a little bit.
the acidity on it is so fucking great.
The mouthfeel on this, the 2022. 2022 was a rough year for fruit up here, and Paso's even hotter than here. But the 2022 is really nice. It's beautiful. It has a little bit of leanness to it. It's a little bit more serious. It's a little lighter. This has beautiful color. And a really rounder mouthfeel that I'm really enjoying.
Yeah. It hits every part of my mouth.
Yeah.
I started using a little bit more new oak with this, but whenever I use new oak in my programs, it's always try to be a use either once, twice, or 3 times used. Because one, as we've quoted so far, there's not enough money in the banana stand to buy brand new oak barrels.
A little Arrested Development shout out. We were talking about it before.
And so, in addition to that, I feel that oak, and how I view it, oak needs to be a background singer.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you view this metaphor of a band, it needs to be the background singer, the bass guitarist. It should never. It needs to be able to play a support role, but never feel in front, because
and Grenache is so sensitive to new oak. So sensitive,
and it takes a while. So this is about 60% twice used oak, the rest of it being neutral barrels.
And are they regular sized barrels or puncheons?
Regular sized.
I find that my first or second, if you can get your hands on a puncheon, really do well with Grenache.
So the Mourvedre that's coming up next is in 100% once used puncheon.
There we go.
And that was the first and only new barrel I've ever bought, and I loved it. But then the moment I saw my bill, I was like, oh.
And how did you decide on the barrel selection?
So for your
first barrel,
for my first barrel, I've always been a fan of Demi.
Okay.
And I was just looking through, and my aunt and uncle buy a lot of Demi fruit, so I've started tasting through a lot of their different toastings. And I was then talking to the rep, and I fell in love with the exclusive toast for them, where it's lightly toasted heads, medium plus toasted staves, and 42 millimeter thick cut staves, so a little bit less oxygen permeation. And the first wine that I made it with, the 2021 Grenache, it's one of those of where it's exactly as what you said. It took a while for the oak to integrate into the Grenache, but for that second time around, especially with the Mourvedre coming up, it was a match made in heaven. Nice. And I think that Demi does an incredible job, and the reps that they have are just really helpful with explaining with what I was looking for, what I was having, and just talking around.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, I've gotten lucky where I have a lot of friends that work at Williams-Sonoma right now.
Yeah.
And I've gotten close with them and asking whenever they start selling off some of their twice or 3 used barrels, I'm one of the first people that they call saying, "Are you desperate?" And the answer is always, "Yeah."
And you guys,
yes.
as winemakers, do you like getting used barrels from people? Do you like it more getting used barrels from people that are making like Chardonnay and Pinot as opposed to Cab? Like, does that make a difference to you?
I use Burgundy barrels, Burgundy-shaped barrels for my Rhones. So I think it makes a difference, and I think that the toast and the exposure and the surface area, I think it does make a difference. And you do have to treat like the oak exposure with the Rhones. It needs to be a little bit softer. I mean, I think Syrah could take either, but.
Syrah's a champ, but there's also moments as to where I feel like Syrah, as much as it is like this big bully, it also has I feel it is like, this giant teddy bear.
A soft, sensitive side.
Oh, it's so soft
especially
and sensitive.
On the coast.
Yeah,
yes,
because
definitely.
For example, I've done a lot of trials for my aunt and uncle Syrah, and we could taste it. And the moment there was a little bit more Syrah, a little bit more oak in there, it could be going from 30 to 35%. That small expression would make it all just taste like, this tastes like oak, delicious oak, but and for Burgundies, like what Jasmine was saying, I feel it just have a soft, Danielle. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But that softer expression just allows it to be a little bit rounder, plusher, which for how I make my wines, I focus with them and orient them in mind with feeling this is how I want to develop flavor, acidity, freshness. And then how is this and how is the oak going to be able to help supplement this rather than trying to build the structure of the wine and then just have oak on top of it.
Right. Yeah, I was just curious because I know that like with using Chardonnay barrels or Pinot barrels, like they don't seem like they will get as infused as other barrels.
I think so as well, especially where some experiences with like once or twice used cab barrels. I haven't used them on any of my Grenaches, but experience just with working with other clients for my day job, you can really see if using a couple of barrels that had some Cabernet in it, then trying to put a different variety into it, you can see just a little bit more grippiness, more expression that you sometimes don't have, that especially that you can find with some more Berg expression.
And I would assume that at Williams-Sonoma they're using some nice barrels.
Oh yeah.
Now those guys know how to make some Pinots.
They
how much do they sell? If you can tell us, how much are they selling you the used barrels for?
Trade secret.
$100.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
It's really helpful as
I think we pay $150.
I think they also won because they realized that they look at me and like, oh, he's broke. But then secondly, as well, having a friend of mine who's one of the assistant winemakers there is helpful. But also, when I show up there, they just always laugh because like, where's your truck? As it's just the back of my car. And I'm like, I can fit 2 of these at a time. I'll be back here 3 more times.
Up in a Toyota Celica.
So the car that I have, I figured out that it can fit 2 60-gallon barrels in it perfectly as long as I keep a couple towels in them from moving. So I've driven barrels all the way down to Paso. I've picked up barrels in Paso all the way back up.
Dude,
and
I get it. I can fit like 25 cases in my RAV.
Oh, it's impressive.
Creative, but
when you get creative, it is truly something. As to where, because whenever I drive, my parents act as we call it my Southern California distributorship. I will bring just wines down to them like, do you want to pay for this via truck? I'm like, I can fit 25 cases in and 2 tanks of gas, or I can pay a truck and then ask, and they're going to ask for my firstborn child's name.
Totally.
I'll see you guys in 8 hours.
Well, I'm very excited to try this Mourvedre.
Were you working with Jack when you were at Williams-Sonoma?
I was never.
You weren't there.
No,
You're just.
I was never there.
Okay.
I happened to randomly meet everyone. So for 2 years, I worked for Chiara Mondavi. For part of her Centium wine project.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
So starting in 21, but I started working with her in 23. She started wanting to develop her own Sauvignon Blanc label and really working with all these old vine vineyards that either her grandpa started making wine from back in the day with Fumé Blanc when Robert Mondavi started. And so as a result, she was looking for someone to be her viticultural and like enological assistant. And so when I started just working for her, I happened to meet one of the someone who was working at Williams-Sonoma out in the vineyards. And we just became really close friends, and then from there, it just happened to become integrated.
All right, tell me your experience with Mourvedre in the past, like the ones that you had.
I had made one Mourvedre before for this. I had tasted a couple wines from Bandol. I had tasted one wine from Domaine Tempier, and I fell in love with it. And
which, talk about that. Most people know Domaine Tempier; they've had the rosé, but very few people actually have had red wines from Bandol. It's weird, but they're fucking amazing.
They're incredible.
They need time.
It is definitely this big, broad-shouldered beast, but I could see this really soft, savory underside, and I fell in love with it. And so I made this wine almost as in the words of Bob Ross, a happy little accident, because in 22 I was supposed to get about 1.5 tons of Grenache from Calesta. Well, the vineyard picked light, and I only got about 0.8 tons. And that's not enough to fill a puncheon.
Yeah.
So, and I realized, you know what? I just bought a puncheon last year, and damn it, I'm not letting it go dry. And so we have, Meeker was having to work with this fruit from Clay Shannon's family out in High Valley area of Lake County. And they said, we have extra tonnage. Do you want to get some, do you want some fruit? And I said, I've never worked with Mourvedre. I have always wanted to. I've just wanted to find the right place, the right opportunity. And just with all these other happenstances that I've had in my life with this, let's stumble upon this. Let's run with it. Let's figure out something.
So tell me what surprised you the most about working with Mourvedre.
It, especially just tannin integration with it was one of the most interesting things, because tasting it and just when I first tasted the fruit, I was like, okay, I have an idea with how I think this wine's going to go. But as I started just going through primary with it, I was realizing that despite being such thick-skinned, I was really needing to work the skins a lot more than I was expecting, and ferment it a little bit warmer. But as a result, I loved it. I love that savory slant. This is and more importantly, as much as I love this Mourvedre, I have such a special place in it because my mom was this wine's biggest hater when I first bottled it.
Why?
Well, one, my mom had never had Mourvedre before.
Okay, so the fear of the unknown.
Part of the fear of the unknown, and part of the, Matt, did you just buy more grapes? What are we doing here? She was coming at it from a concerned mom's perspective, which I love and respect. Yeah. But I remember first coming home for Christmas, taking a barrel sample and being like, okay, taste this. Seeing my dad's face, being like, this is great. I'm like, okay, I've got 50% of the team on board. And then Mom... I'm an only child as well, so the eye of Sauron is always on me, as you say. And she tastes it and just immediately just shakes her head and is like, that ain't it. I don't like this. To which I'm like, okay, I might as well pack the bags. We're done.
My heart is broken.
But wait about another 12 months. I bring it home after bottling it, and I'm like, I put it in a brown paper bag, and I'm like, say, taste this blind. Tell me what you think. She, eyes wide open, goes, this is effing delicious.
Yay!
And which I'm kind of like, well, for the sake of me and my therapist, let me record this real quick so I can have my mom saying, I love you. This is great. But she's like, this wine's incredible.
It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
It's really pretty. And
thank you.
I love Mourvedre.
Yeah,
I don't think people are celebrating it
I've
enough.
been begging the Shannon family to, whenever they started blowing up the brand in that vineyard on itself, because it was High Valley is a really special part of Lake County. It's about 2,400 foot elevation fruit on a really steep hillside. And they started, after Meeker started making it a couple years, they started their own label with the Mourvedre. And I've been begging them every year, saying, if you have extra tonnage, please call me. I'll be the first one to pick it up. And
no, I love Mourvedres, and I love Mourvedres made like this. I think you did a really amazing job. I mean, it's got all that. It's so soft, and it's got like the nice acidity, the Bing cherry, but then it also has those deeper flavors like chocolate, licorice, herbs de Provence. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
A little bit of rose.
Yeah, this has been, I think, one of my. It's been one of my favorites. Just besides this, what I said, my mom going from being the wine's biggest hater to being the biggest lover, but because I love doing these projects or these ideas. I'm like, I'm going to take a flyer. I love to bet on myself. I've definitely fallen flat on my face a few times. Luckily, so far, nothing with the winemaking has made me fall flat on my face. But we're taking these ideas of let me push myself and try to just make something beautiful.
Well, because is this your plan? Like, you want to make wine. You're going to make this happen somehow.
I am scrappy. I will do whatever it takes.
I'm just blown away by people. And even like Danielle too, where you have your normal jobs and then things that you do to at least you have some sort of consistent income. But then you're like, no, I'm going to make this shit happen. And then how you're finding time to make the wine, but then the struggle is like, okay, shit, now like I gotta sell this stuff too and figure out how to do my normal job and figure out how to make the wines. It's like it's so much that you take on when you have a project like this.
It is, and I can.
You guys are crazy.
I know. I mean, when you start making the wine, you should be thinking about selling the wine, but not all of us do that.
But you're not. You're sucked into
We're just
this
excited.
romantic thing.
You're 100% right. You get so excited in this idea of this is so great. I cannot wait. I think this is amazing.
Yeah.
Why doesn't anyone else just immediately think, why can't this just be the field of dreams? You know, if you build it, they will come.
We are the creatives.
Yeah. But that's where, as we call it, like in Staysail, my dad is very much, whenever I pour at events, he always comes and helps me.
Oh, yeah.
But he's also very much, he helps me with all the accounting side of it. And my mom is the chief reality, is like we call her officer. She's like, okay, you want to do this? Can you sell it?
Yes.
Where's the market to actually sell this? And that question It's not the fun question to be asked.
It's not the fun question.
I mean, with your
Yeah.
labeling and how like palatable these are, like you should be at every single yacht club. You should be at every single.
That's where I've been going with it. Is that exact idea?
Yeah.
Is being able to just go there, and
Fits the brand.
I've been really incredibly lucky. So at Meeker, my day job, our director of sales, he has his own little small by hand distribution label that he's been helping me hawk, like just getting placements, because is what Brian was saying. It's incredibly hard to make the wine. Then right after the season's over, like, okay,
gotta sell it.
Now I got to sell it.
Yes.
But then for me, I'm like, okay, I can go for a day and try to meet accounts and try to get sales. But that's also a day I'm not working.
Yeah.
That's also a day I'm not making money.
Yeah.
And so, but that's also nice because it lights a fire under my ass to be able to say, don't take no for an answer. You have to figure this out, because if I'm going to not work, I have to do whatever.
Yeah.
But besides that, or it's like I have to go check in on an account. So during my lunch break, for example, I might be like, okay, Maison up in Healdsburg carries my Grenache Blanc. So I'll just eat my food, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go check in on Maison real quick. Let's just see how they're doing, or let me go check somewhere else.
Yeah.
Go far out those emails. But I make the time, and it's something fun. I know my girlfriend hates it because she looks at me and just says, is everything about your life wine? Is there a moment as to where, and I'm like, I kind of look like, well, we're 2.5 years into it and hasn't changed, you know?
So your girlfriend's not in wine?
No, she's in biotech. We call her the smart version of science, because she's like...
Science for real.
Oh, no, her company, they make these proteins for people that have like really rare autoimmune diseases.
Yeah.
Quality of life. And she's like, well, you do science. I'm like, no, I destroy your liver and make you have bad decisions and maybe have your meal taste awesome. You do the life-saving stuff.
I mean, make you happy, give you rosy cheeks, relax.
Yeah. Oh,
Community.
Community.
Food tastes better.
I mean, the biochemist has to relax, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's where. But no, I love it though. The idea of just having, and it's like helpful for her having that, because she's so much more of that. Like that hard sciences where like, is this a repeatable process? And I'm like, no, it's vibes. Like, we're
it's vibes.
And like, she was like asking me like, so have you decided to press off your Grenache you made this year? And I was like, I was thinking Monday. Now I'm thinking, a couple of days later, she's like, do you not have a plan in mind? I'm like, the cap is still holding. Why?
Well, yeah, and you can't, like, once you got sucked into this is my style, this is my plan, then you lose the whole fun of it, because you can't predict what's going to happen. You can't predict the weather. You can't predict the terroir. You can't predict what the wine's going to do in tank every single year. You have to be flexible, and that's the thing about it. You have to go stick your hands in the wine. You have to go stick your nose in the wine. You got to get dirty, and you got to figure it out and respond to it every day.
Yeah, it's always funny whenever people come into either Meeker or ask me like, isn't winemaking romantic? I'm like, and I'll look at like, your part of it is romantic. The drinking it, my part of it is
it's wet and dirty.
Yeah, it's not, but like, or they'll come in and it's like my hands full, like neat, like arm deep in a 44, being like, temp down there is good, guys. Also, anyone have a hose for me to clean this off, because it's all sticky now.
Yeah, very and sticky.
Yeah.
I save a lot of bees.
Oh yeah.
I like to pull bees out of the press pan, and I'm like, tell your friends we're cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's always the question. Is this wine vegan? You're like,
well, even when you're picking it, the amount of little creatures.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's things that you can do to like help it along, but there are some bugs lost in the process. I do, however, to my other lab partners' dismay, I will, if there's one of those little white spiders in a bag of a grape sample, I let them out in the lab.
No, you got to, right? No, those little guys, you have to keep them.
I'm not just gonna like crunch them. I'm like, go eat some flies.
Go eat some flies, totally.
Eat some.
Or that's when you go like, that's terroir right there.
Yeah.
And sorry for the added sound. The tasting house is slammed currently, and we had to put some people outside with us. So you're gonna have a little chatter.
Okay, so Cab Franc.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
You got it.
Although I'm really sad to pour this Morvet out. I'll probably have one more taste.
It was so pretty.
So this Cab Franc was the first wine I ever made, and wanted to bring it because I love wine. To me, always has a story of where you see where your through lines is, where you're going. And this wine showed off where I'm started, and also how importantly it is to realize that, this stuff just makes itself.
That's true. And 19, what a perfect year for Cab Franc. Where's the vineyard?
So it was right off of, right at essentially the border of where the Dry Creek Valley AVA and Russian River Valley AVA. So it's right off like the start of West Side Road on the Dry Creek Valley side of it.
Perfect. I mean, 2019 was just like a perfect vintage where it's like you just get, I mean, essentially you get to pick your pick date, and because it was just, you know, the summer was so mild, and then we got our nice heat spikes, but then October was just like really chill, and so you just could leave the fruit out there for flavor development as long as you really wanted.
Yeah, it was. And this vineyard, how it would always go before the fires had their way with it. Mm-hmm. It was because the vines were so old that it would just hang. It would get to about 23, 24th and take about 3-4 weeks just to get up that last little tick.
Yeah.
And it would just have all this development and phenolic hang time as to where there is nothing like this. And with this wine, I always joke about it, saying this made me realize how job security is not truly there if you're a harvest intern. So when 3 or 4 days after I brought in this fruit, I was in the middle of cold soaking and just doing morning punch down on just a number of lots. It's the cellar master, Lucas, my boss, and myself, just the three of us, because it's just a lazy Sunday. The fire department comes in and they say, the fire's on the other side of the Healdsburg Bridge, mandatory evacuation, not evaluation.
Yeah.
They're like, and they pretty much were like, get the fuck out.
Yes. Yeah.
And I, being the intern, also being wildly selfish, being like, well, no, my wine's right here.
Yeah.
I asked them, how mandatory is mandatory? Like, do I need to leave right now, or
can I finish my punch down?
I was like, or can I like inoculate or
can
do
I shove
any
some
of these
yeast
things?
in here?
Because besides that, there was also maybe about 25, 30 different fermenting lots going on at Meeker at that time. And I'm like, everyone else has got to evacuate their families. They look at me and they're like, well, let's do this.
Yeah.
You don't have you're just a 24-year-old bachelor at the moment. Mm-hmm. Let's just figure this out. And the cops say, you have 2 hours because we have to evacuate everyone else in Healdsburg. Yeah. But if you come back and you're still here, you're going to evacuate in our car, not your car, if you catch the drift. Yes. So I inoculate my wine, inoculate everything, throw as much dry ice on the ground in the winery, say as many prayers to Dionysus, Bacchus, whichever god of wine you want. And I'm like, well, I just blew my life savings on this fruit.
Yeah.
Probably just blew my life savings, But that's for a problem for Matt to evaluate down the line. Well, 6 days later, we get the all clear to come back to Meeker. And so okay, let's go there. Let's start triaging every wine. We're going to put them in 3 categories. This wine's just fine. Nah, we might need to do a little bit work. Or, oh, dear God, what happened? We're going to need to probably dump this.
Yeah.
And I get to my 2 bins, and I'm immediately just throwing whatever thing, trying to find whatever rabbit's foot I have in my pocket.
Uh-huh.
And it's fine. It fermented dry. I got maybe 4 punch downs on it total because it had dried itself out. The cap is a little dry, so I just took a shoveled off the parts of the dry cap until it was moist. Yeah. And I tasted it, and I was like,
it's great.
It's great.
Oh my God. I was like, let's look at this. And I was like, as much as I was thinking of trying to my first Cab Franc to be this bigger wine, I'm like, this tastes like something from the Loire. This tastes like
it's pretty.
Just pretty.
Yes.
And wow.
Yeah.
And then I immediately started looking around. I was like, well, this wine just made itself, and every tank is just about fine.
Yeah.
What can I start doing to make sure I still have a job? Because you start realizing of how they say wine, it makes itself, but there's so much natural. And as much as we all love to say we're low intervention, but everything that we do, the moment we choose to pick, that's a means of intervention.
Yeah.
When we press. So every one of those little movements that we do is something just deliberate, not just because we need to freak out and tweak this because, I don't know, as a winemaker, I feel like sometimes I micromanage way too much.
Yeah, yeah.
But this, I'm like, I threw some yeast in there. I didn't even do a single punch down on this. And it just made itself the way I'm so happy.
Yeah.
But okay, let's start cleaning. Let's start let's start doing what we can.
That's what happened to us in 17. Yeah. We got really lucky and pulled some fruit in, dropped it off at at Rapri in the tanks, and then we went to go check on it that morning, and the fires had started. We couldn't go on the roads, and it sat by itself for 10 days. No one was there to check on it or monitor temperature or do anything, and it turned into wine. We're like, and it's some of my favorite vintages.
The 17, like 17 showed me, and I was already hooked on wine, but those 17 fires made me, I think, fall in love with this industry beyond anything else, because
I feel like we got all closer.
It was 100%. I mean, I remember evacuating GlenLyon with my family, and with my aunt and uncle, they weren't immediately calling people trying to figure out what's going on. Like with their property, it was calling everyone, "Are you okay? How are you? Like, how's your team? Does everyone have a roof over their head?"
Yeah.
And I was 22 at the time, and I was like, everyone cares. This is really, like, you know the phrase, like, rising tides raise all ships. Mm-hmm. I never really experienced that, or I mean, I'm certain I have, but like truly seeing that in a way of where I was like, wow, people. And when we were evacuated, there was one of like my aunt and uncle's neighbors called us. He was like, "Hey, so I'm able to break into your winery. I'm doing punch downs on all your tanks." And we're just like, "What are you doing?" One, that's insanely dangerous, but two, thank you. You're the best, but that's just insane.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And going from there, being like, man, does it kind of get better than this? Mm-hmm. Really, I mean, a place that everyone cares about, like, yourself to a level, like, you're willing to try to sacrifice going through potentially your own livelihood and liberty, like in the sense of going through some fire lines to go check on your properties, go check on what you have. But then also making sure of where, like, for us, we were so much more, as we were concerned about, like, the property, my family is much more concerned about making sure that everyone who worked in our vineyards or worked in the cellar, that they were okay.
Yeah.
That was so much more. They're like, we can rebuild.
Yeah.
But but people, like, lives, we can't repair, can't bring those back, and, like, memories. What can we, like?
Yeah. No, it was a crazy time.
No,
but I mean, years like that mark a vintage. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you will never forget what went down in 2019. Yeah. Like, that's going to always be part of your...
It's there. Yeah. And I love that mark of it, because wine, it has a story as much as, like, liquor, like, there's so many great brands that have a story. Right. Beer, you can have that. But wine, every year, there's something unique. There's a story.
Yeah. Well, there's not a vintage on those things for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah. You find something, and what my parents love to do is, like, it, and I just love playing along with it, because I can never contribute. Whenever they open up old wine, they always try to talk about something that happened that year. Yeah. If it's like in 1980, for example, that they're opening, like, this is our wedding year. Yeah. So like that, or they'll go like, all right, 1980 this. I'm like, well, I still wasn't a twinkle in either of you guys' eyes yet. Here we are. But then like 95, I'm like, oh, I know what happened. Your guys' fun stopped because I was born.
Love it.
But
different kind of fun.
But I mean, it's that idea of where there's a story for a reason. It connects us. Mm-hmm. It allows us to have fun, to do these things that you look back on. And while harvest, you know, it's the most fun you only want to have once a year.
True statement.
Yeah. I look at everyone who does, like, oh, I'm about to go down to, like, Australia for another harvest. I'm like, you're crazy. I love you. That level of motivation that you have, but also the spiders.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Now, my favorite thing about drinking wine with Phil, especially our wines, is when the vintage, he will pull up, oh my God, there was this hailstorm that happened on this day. And I'm like, how do you recall all those things? You don't know where your sunglasses are. Like, just like,
well, there's only so much room in the brain.
Yeah.
You're going to remember the hailstorm. You're not going to remember where your phone is.
Yeah.
Oh, like, Phil is one of those guys that I call just like sage wisdom. He's just a sponge. Oh, yeah. Every moment I've had to just be around him, I'm like, just keep talking. I just want to absorb every word that you're saying, because there's some weight, there's something of value with it, especially where, I mean, like when I went up to Alder Springs this year, just like start sampling some fruit, and I was like, what do you think? And Stu was going to be like, this reminds me of the 90s, like 94, and then like 2008. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, just pulling all that.
He looked at me, I was like mouth wide open. He's like, why? I was like, I wasn't alive in 94 yet. You know? I was like, and he was like, oh. Yeah. But no, there's those things that you remember, like those rainstorms or whatever, or Something like, or I just laugh, like Malbec that we made in 2019 for Meeker. It was one of my favorite wines, but I remember our destemmer breaking and me having to shovel through just like a little bit of fruit at once. And I'm like, you know what?
Malbec is like so stringy, man. Yeah. It's just the hardest thing to get through, like a must pump or something. Yeah. Oh my God.
It was one of those of where we had about, I think it was like 4.5 tons of it still left to essentially manually destem.
No.
And I was kind of like, you know what? Whoever gets this wine, they're going to have to love it, because when I said there's blood, sweat, and tears, there might not have been any blood in this, but I cried a lot and I sweated a bunch in this.
There's definitely sweat and tears in wine.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
We all need to have our special
cleaning.
little crying corners, where you just go, you scream into your proverbial pillow for a minute, then you're like, it's great. Wine's fun.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Well, that Cab Franc is so good.
Yeah.
Such nice fruit, a little bit of like cool funk on the foreground. It was really neat. I really like it.
Thank you. Yeah. All these wines, I try to have
beautiful.
Acidity I feel like is one of my through lines.
High five.
Yeah.
I love
there's so much of
there.
Yeah. I'm an acid freak. Like my Grenache Blanc, it finishes most pHs is around 3 to 3.1.
Wow.
And I'm not adding acid. That's just me just letting the fruit. And
that's that limestone, baby.
The moment I have that, because I look and like, this is what makes it needs to be this refreshing thing.
Yes.
I love wines that are hang out, that can just drink great by themselves, but wine that goes with food. That's something in the summer, this is my go-to hiking. Bring this, a little bit of ceviche and a picnic.
Oh yeah.
No matter what doghouse I'm in, I can instantly get out of a doghouse with like Grenache Blanc and ceviche. But it's something where it's just like, it needs to have this thing of where you can be like, oh, I see how well this can go with this.
Yeah.
Because I love sitting on the porch drinking something, but if I can have a bit of like a little snack or something, or you find those two bites together. Like what made me fall in love with Grenache back in the day was I remember having a barbecue with my parents, and I found a bottle of Grenache in their cellar, and I was like, what's Grenache? And my dad's like, I don't know. We got it in a wine club shipment. We put it in the cellar. We didn't think about it. So it was a screw cap bottle, so I crack open the screw cap, pour it, have a bite of carne asada with this, and I'm like, wait, wine goes with Mexican food?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah.
That's what I love about Grenache. It's so versatile,
tacos
man.
And the moment that happened, that's another one of those light bulb moments of where I'm like, okay, I already thought this was the greatest thing known to mankind. This is now instantly 10,000 times better.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Zinfandel,
no one will
Grenache
ever talk
too.
smack on a margarita. I will not stand for that. But if I can find something else that also go with it, like,
I love a Rhone and like Thanksgiving dinner.
Totally.
oh yeah.
Rhone and Thanksgiving go really well together.
Stuffing. Gravy.
I can talk about food all day.
Well, we know you're in the middle of harvest, and we appreciate you coming down so
how
that
can
we
people
can do a podcast.
find your wines?
So you can either go onto www.staysailwines.com, and that's where I have all my releases. I also am about to release my fall upcoming wine club mailing release shipment. Nice. So please sign up for the club. That's where you can get everything at the best possible pricing and where I have the releases. All the emails, all the marketing is done by me. So I promise I don't spam you, because as much as I want to get things done,
I don't have
human.
time.
Exactly. Like things are like, oh, should have probably sent an email about that. But no, please just sign up for either the wine club or just buy directly from me. You can find me in a number of different wine shops and restaurants all throughout California, both in Northern and Southern California. And sign up for follow me on Instagram. That's where I post the majority of my updates and news. And same thing with my mailing list.
And who are you on Instagram?
At Staysail Cellars.
Awesome.
STAYSAIL Cellars.
Great.
Yep.
Nice. I love it.
Great. Anything to announce,
So
Jasmine?
this comes out. We have our biggest party ever, October 12th, Phil's 60th harvest, our 20 years as a label and 10 years as a tasting house. We're throwing a big party at the Denmark Barn from 4 to 8. Food's going to be done by Valley Swim Club. We've got Bella Rain opening for Abby Rhodes, and it's just going to be a massive party with lots
I'll be
lots
there.
of wine.
Me and my family will be there.
If I'm not cleaning out a press, I'll be there.
No, it's we throw this party. It's Phil's birthday. Actually today.
Yeah, it's the big guy's birthday today.
But
HBD, Phil.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
But yeah, this will be quite the celebration.
Yeah.
And then, wine club, pick up your stuff, schedule appointments. We'd love to host you.
Yes, yes. For Jean de Bois, we'll be releasing our 2022 Cabernet Sauvignon sometime soon. I just have to send that email out.
Yep.
And promotions coming soon. So stay tuned.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, Matt. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Hopefully I can be back sometime soon.
Oh, absolutely. Drink more Grenache.
Absolutely. Drink more Grenache.